guys! For anybody who missed the video that I put up, I can't remember if it was yesterday or the day before, I'm sorry for missing a couple of my makeup videos this week. I was not doing well, and that actually brings me to the subject of today's video. I am gonna just be doing a regular cute makeup look that's based off of a doll that I own. I've always thought that the makeup they put on her was adorable and perfect for Halloween. But while I'm doing that, I'm gonna be finally discussing my health journey. It's something I've wanted to do on this channel for a really long time, but it's a scary subject to discuss, especially given the way that it's been reacted to in the past when I've talked about it. I've actually, I think 5 times now, filmed entire hour-long videos discussing my health before. I've edited them and everything, and then when it came time to post them, I'm just too terrified. But Phoenix is actually here today giving her input and talking to you guys a little bit too about this, and that's going to make it a lot easier for me to upload this video.
Yeah.
Hi!
I'm currently bottling cat while working on a spray paint part. Right now, I have this little creature troll dude that looks like it's going to be Grimace.
Grimace?
So he will be all black when I paint him, and I'll put little red tufts here and there.
So I'm gonna start the makeup look, and while I'm just outlining the design that I'm gonna be making on my face, we're going to be discussing the contest that's gonna happen on this channel. It's something I briefly touched on in my kind of quick update video, but we're gonna go a little bit more in depth with it right now. Alright, so as many of you are aware by now on this channel, Phoenix and I work on a graphic novel series together, and right now we're doing pretty well. It's doing great at the conventions we take it to and stuff, but we want it to reach more people than just the people at the conventions. So we thought it might be a fun idea to hold a contest on this channel. It's a good way for us to get more exposure for Firesphere, and also a good way for me to gain my subscriber count. So basically
edit mine, it's Gossamer, not Grimace. Grimace is a purple thing from McDonald's.
Alright, so Phoenix has already been in a video for my 31 days of makeup, but she's gonna be in some more. And in 3 of those videos, she is going to be giving you guys some kind of keyword. And once you have all 3 of the keywords, you're going to have to only complete 2 easy tasks. The first task is you're gonna have to subscribe to my channel, easy peasy. Second task is go to my Instagram, DM me what those 3 keywords were. You do not have to follow me on Instagram. It's alright if you don't want to, because I know my content's a little different on there than it is here, but you do have to tell me the keywords. After you have subscribed to my YouTube and told me the 3 keywords on my Instagram DMs, you will be entered into the contest. There's gonna be a couple of different prizes for the contest. You're gonna get the PDF version of all of the books we have so far, which is a pretty good deal because they're usually about $7 to $10. So you're getting them for free. That's pretty awesome. And you're going to get book 4 before it's even released to the public. Even pre-orders won't get it until after you get it. So that's pretty awesome. You'll have something that nobody else has. And on top of that, you're also going to have your choice of what you'd like the rest of your prize pack to be. Phoenix, you want to mention what some of the options are?
A prize that I'll be giving out is fan art that I currently do, and the medium is in digital painting format, and The different topics that I usually do for commissions are anime, comic related like DC, Marvel, any type of thing you can think of, movies, TV shows, nostalgic kind of TV shows, which I love doing.
The sky's the limit too. We've had people approach us at conventions before for commissions and be like, so I know it's a little weird, but could you draw like this random crossover? We're like, hey, we're not here to judge you for what you like. We're just here to draw it.
And the other thing that I currently do is pet portraits. So that will be another thing. Another thing I do is spray paint art, which I am currently doing over here. And it's not Grimace from McDonald's, it's Gossamer.
Grimace is just in the Looney Tunes now.
The red monster from Looney Tunes, not the purple monster from
that looks
McDonald's.
like a chicken nugget.
I don't know why I was thinking McDonald's. Maybe it's because I want McDonald's right now, but I don't know. So yeah, I do spray paint art. Just of like planets right now. I'm just starting out with it. And I do planets, I do some seascapes, that kind of stuff.
So, in short, if you win the contest, you're guaranteed to get the books, but the rest of it is completely customizable. It's up to you. If you want a piece of spray paint art, tell us what you want it to be of. If you want a piece of digital art, tell us what you want. If you want them both, tell us you want both. It's, you know, whatever you want. It's your prize at the end of the day. And the contest is going to go live on the 31st. Seems appropriate. That is how long you have to put the keywords in my Instagram DMs and to subscribe here. Now that that's out of the way, it's time for the more serious portion of this video, which is the health related stuff. Phoenix is in here for reasons that will become clear very, very soon. I am hoping by discussing my chronic health and pain journey, I will not only make people who suffer from this feel less alone, but more so I'm hoping that I change the minds of people who are being judgmental of people who are suffering with chronic diseases. Because it's hard enough already, and then a lot of people, sometimes without even meaning it, tend to be really awful to you over your disease. The best way I can think to start this is from the very beginning, because mine has been, you know, an issue forever. Basically, my parents got married super, super young. Like, my mom was 19 when she got married. And they immediately knew they wanted to have kids. And before deciding to have kids, they were like, let's just, you know, do everything we want to do. Let's do our traveling and stuff, and, you know, any vacations we want. Get that out of the way so that we don't become those resentful parents who are like, I have kids, so I don't get to do anything with my life. Which I think was a really smart idea on their part. So they went and they did their thing, and then they're like, okay, it's time to settle down, time to start having those kids. And they tried, and they tried, and they tried, kept not happening. They did all the lovely tricks you can do to try to make it happen a little easier. Nothing was working, and this was in the 80s, by the way. And when nothing was working and a good few years had gone by, they decided to go to a doctor. Nothing was wrong with anyone's count, nothing was wrong with my mom's body or anything. Like, medically speaking, they should have been able to easily pop out kids. And even the doctor was like, this is kind of surprising, this is a little weird, I'm not really sure what's going on here. And they did a couple surgeries on my mom just to make sure nothing was hiding. They're like, no, everything's perfect. So like, she really suffered trying to get pregnant. And at the end of the day, the doctor could pretty much only offer the advice of, all I can tell you is just keep trying and hopefully it happens for you one day. So that's what they did for 8 years. They kept on trying and no baby. So they kind of gave up. and I don't really blame them. I'd probably give up too, and they started looking into adoption. As they were about to pick the kid they were going to adopt and start signing the papers, that's when my mom found out she was pregnant with me. Surprise! And obviously she and the rest of my family were really excited. They were like, oh my goodness, you've been trying for almost 10 years. We're so happy for you. We can't believe that it's finally happening. And pretty much immediately there were problems. My mom only got to a few months before she started bleeding really badly, and I'm not talking spotting, I'm talking like full-on heaviest day of your period bleeding. And she felt really weak, she felt really dizzy, she kind of felt like she was dying, so she was scared and immediately went to the hospital and was like, yeah, I'm pregnant and I'm bleeding a lot and I don't know what's going on, can you help me? And they basically told her that I was kind of more or less trying to miscarry, basically, and that she had to just lay around on the couch and do nothing. They were like, not even the most mundane chores. You lay down and you do nothing for the next month, have your husband do everything. And my dad was all for it, just like, yeah, like we've waited so long, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to help this baby. So he had just opened his shop. So he was in the first few years of owning a business, and that's real rough already with everything that you're responsible for and trying to make happen. And then on top of this, he'd be running home like 3-4 times a day to take care of my mom, make sure she had food, make sure that she didn't have to go to the bathroom, like doing everything for her, waiting on her hand and foot. And so she did that. Everything seemed to be sorted out and okay again. Couple more months go by, she's a lot further along with me, like to the point where if you look on an ultrasound, like it looks like a little person, now not an alien. And once again, I try to miscarry and take her out with me. If I was gonna die, mom was gonna die. And so again, she does the same thing and everything seems fine. Day of birth comes, and she has no problem. She says I practically flew out, like I was ready to be out here. She said it was really easy labor. She had like no problems at all with me. I had no problems at all. I was fine. But she takes me home and she said it was really weird because I cried a lot, and they're like, oh, that's normal, like some babies just do that. But she's like, yeah, but it's really strange because it's for 1 straight hour from 6 to 7 at night, every single night on the dot. Like right when it turned 6 o'clock, I would just scream and there was no consoling me. I was just freaking out like non-stop, and I'd feel really, really hot. And she said that I'd have this massive fever, but no symptoms. It didn't seem like I had a cold, didn't seem like I had a flu, nothing. I was just super hot. And then I get to like age 1 and 2, and basically, I'd just about never been outside. I could go outside in the spring, sometimes in the summer. Any colder months, I could not go outside because I would immediately get that fever. It was 105 degrees Fahrenheit. I would get that incredibly hot. That's like near pneumonia levels of overheating. For no reason. I was not sick. The doctors would check, she'd take me to the ER, and they were like, your kid isn't like sick with a virus or anything. We don't know why this is happening. It's so weird. And my mom was like, I don't understand why it's happening either, but like I'm scared. Like I don't want my kid to die. What's happening? And they're like, we don't know. Like we'll try to keep an eye on her and stuff, but like we don't know what's going on. And so I get to age 2, and my parents are starting to think of like what preschool I'm gonna go to and stuff, but they're like, how do we send our kid to preschool when they can barely get out of bed because they are getting these fevers all the time? At this point, it wasn't like it was just the getting really hot 105 degree fever. I was also having this weird problem where if I went near any other child who was sick, even if it was just a slight head cold, it would start as a little baby head cold, and within hours it would warp into like full-blown pneumonia. I couldn't just be a little sick. Like it was, I started a little sick and then I die. It was bad. And so they were like, we can't keep doing this. This isn't right. Took me in and they're like, well, let's try to take your kid's adenoids out. Maybe that's gonna help with this whole, you know, issue with getting sick constantly because your poor kid's like never gotten to play in the snow or anything. So age 2, I got that lovely traumatic experience of having my first surgery, and I remember it very distinctly even now. And they're all hopeful, they're all excited, like, yay, our kid can finally have a normal life. Nope, it did literally nothing. There was no change in my health whatsoever, and they were like, we just put our kid through this huge surgery. It was really traumatic for them, and it solved nothing. Like, what's going on? And unfortunately, I was a baby born at the end of the 80s, child of the 90s. Medicine and technology were just not what they are these days. It's very difficult to explain if you weren't there. There was little doctors could do. A lot of people say like, oh, your doctor should have done more. They were doing all they could at the time. It was pretty much take baby's temperature, maybe give them surgery, give them some, you know, medicine and hope it gets better. There was not that much you could do yet. And so I'm this poor kid going to school with other kids. I'm sick so often that teachers think I'm faking it. My parents are constantly fighting with them to keep them from holding me back and stuff. And then everything gets worse. I got my first menstrual cycle when I was 11 years old. And immediately my health took even more of a plunge, as if it wasn't bad enough already. I got a million times worse. I got a worse immune system. I was getting sick even more often. I was in pain constantly. Every single time I got my cycle, I would throw up enough to fill an entire plastic shopping bag, and then I would scream in pain until I literally passed out. And I would pass out for like hours and hours and then come to and be okay again. And my mom was like, okay, like something's wrong because this is mostly happening then. Like obviously the immune problem isn't necessarily directly linked to this, but something's going on like inside with the lady bits and stuff, because every time you have a menstrual cycle, you look horrible. Like all this stuff happening to you is so bad. I went to so many doctors. I went to male doctors, I went to female doctors, I saw specialist after specialist. I would spend days and nights in the hospital because I would get so bad. That I couldn't eat for like 2 weeks, and I would dump like 12 to 15 pounds just out of nowhere. And that's dangerous. A couple times I literally almost died because it got so out of control. And all of these specialists basically just kept on saying that it was hormones and that I was exaggerating my pain and that I shouldn't get a hysterectomy because I might want a baby someday. And I was like, listen, I'm sorry, but by this point I was like in my late teens all the way through my mid-20s. This is what I was being told, and I was like, at this point in my life, I know if I want a baby or not. I know if I'm interested in getting pregnant or not, and I'm not, so stop trying to force it on me. And it just wasn't working. They decided that apparently they knew better than me, and there was nothing I could say to get them to believe me. And I know I kind of jumped timeline a lot, and I'm going to be going back and forth a lot because it's very difficult to explain all this in a linear fashion, but I have multiple health problems, none of which doctors have really cared enough to truly help me with. That was one of them. Eventually, finally, not that long ago, I got someone to give me that surgery and got scooped out, had the hysterectomy. At least that part's out because Yeah, I was right. It was full of tumors. It was literally killing me. It was crushing my GI tract. It was making it so I couldn't go to the bathroom and stuff. I was freaking dying and nobody cared. And that got sorted with that surgery. And once that was finished, I was basically told by that surgeon, I'm sorry, I did the best I could, but this is like my only specialty. I can't take care of like your other problems, and because they waited so long, like your other stuff's probably going to get a million times worse now because your body's been traumatized. I had a lot of complications during my surgery. It was horrific. That's like a whole video of its own, what happened to me during that awful surgery. Maybe that'll be the next video. But yeah, my other stuff I have a problem with, as if that stuff wasn't bad enough already. Then you think, wow, so now I have medical proof I'm actually sick. I can say, look, I even need like a hysterectomy, a major surgery and stuff to fix this issue. So yeah, I'm really a sick person. I have had doctors full on tell me diagnoses before for my chronic pain and stuff, and then backtrack it when they realized the medicines I would need to deal with it weren't going to be expensive enough for them. And that's horrible, because basically right now I'm walking around unmedicated. I don't get disability. I don't get to have a handicap sticker on the car. I don't get anything to make my life easier because they've basically refused to do anything about my pain. And this is a common thing. This is not just a my experience thing. This is pretty much an everybody who's ever been chronically sick thing. And the shittiest part of it is what I have to go through on a daily basis. Daily life is basically, I wake up in the morning in so much pain every single day that I can't get out of bed by myself. I have to either lay there for like 2 hours doing nothing until my body calms down enough to function, or if it's a particularly bad day, I have to wait until like 4 o'clock when Phoenix gets home from work to have her come up and help me get out of bed. Those are the worst, not being able to do anything for a whole day. And once I'm up and I've gotten myself to the living room to just chill out and everything, I have to figure out if I'm going to be able to eat that day and how much. I can go days and days without being able to eat, even if I want to, even if I'm hungry, because my body just can't accept the food. And that's a horrible feeling when you feel like you're starving, you're so hungry, you haven't eaten for like 4 days, and when you try, you immediately feel like you're gonna be sick. And it feels wasteful and terrible because of that too. Even though you're not intentionally trying to waste the food, you feel like, I'm wasting all this food that I could be eating or that somebody else could be enjoying that needs it more than me, because my stupid body just won't accept the offering already. And it's hard, and sometimes I have to just live off of protein shakes because that's all my body will take in at the time, which isn't a very fun experience, just sitting there having nothing but that the whole time. And throughout the day, as I kind of mentioned before, there's all this randomized pain. I'll be like, oh yay, it's been like 6 hours and the pain's finally subsiding. I can have real life, time to go have fun. Decide I'm gonna go out and see a movie or something, and like right when I get there, boom, pain. Fun time over, you don't get to see your movie even though you're sitting here in line waiting to get your ticket. That stuff sucks. It hurts all the time, it's hard. I basically have dementia because of it as well. Brain fog is a huge part of my particular health problem. I'm not going to mention the exact diagnoses that I have. I don't think it's frankly anybody's business really, and people can get really judgmental sometimes when they hear what your diagnosis is. And that brings me to the reason Phoenix is in the room. apart from the pain and the nausea and not remembering sometimes where I am or what's going on around me, just not being able to trust my body, there's other really difficult things that come with being a chronically ill person, and that is mostly two things. One is the fact that a lot of people, even people you've trusted and known for a long time in your life, decide they can run your life better than you can. I've had so many people, even people that I've known for over a decade, try to tell me that because my health keeps getting progressively worse, I should just move back into my parents' house, loaf around on their couch until I basically die, and that's basically all I'm good for because I'm sick. I've been told, you're just sick because you refuse to do these random things that my second cousin who has the same diagnosis as you did and they magically got better. I have people harass me because I don't use medical marijuana because I'm allergic to something in CBD oil. I go into anaphylactic shock and stop breathing. That stuff is annoying. Having other people decide they know better than you how to take care of you and how to deal with your illness, it's irritating and it's frustrating. It makes you feel like they think you're stupid. Another issue, actually there's three I can think of right now, not just two. Another issue is the fact that you have people in public who are total strangers who decide that they're gonna full-on be armchair doctors. Either they are doctors or nurses or something, or paramedics, or they have no medical background whatsoever. I have fainting spells and seizures. They come at random. Again, they don't have to be triggered, they can just happen out of nowhere, and when it happens, it's terrible because the people around me decide they know what to do with me and not my partner who lives with me. And then outside this issue, there's also the people who use you as cripple porn. I hate that, and a big part of cripple porn is Hollywood. They're at the forefront of this issue with all these movies where some girl is chronically ill or terminally ill and the man comes in and like gives her a reason to live because apparently being disabled makes it so you have no life purpose besides finding someone to save you, and I hate this. We are not your inspiration. We don't want to be your inspiration. We don't want you to think we're inspirational because we're doing something you do every day. Why am I inspirational for getting myself a cup of coffee? Why am I inspirational for going to the movies? I literally had a guy come up to me after I was just watching a movie and say, "You're such an inspiration." I was like, I literally just sat here 2 hours doing nothing. That's not an inspiration. It's offensive. I understand what people are trying to say when they say it, but honestly, the reason you think we're an inspiration when we do just normal, everyday things that you do all the time is because you, on some deep level, think we should just be sad babies laying on our parents' couch doing nothing till we die. That's what you think deep down. I know it's hard to face that side of yourself. I know it's not a fun thing to hear from someone, but it's true. Why else would you think it's inspirational that we're doing regular things? It's because you think we shouldn't be able to do anything. And the reason why it sounded very rushed, me just going through those things, is because there's something very important I want to bring to this conversation. A lot of us who are chronically ill or disabled on YouTube tell our side of the story, but people neglect to talk about the side of our partners, the people who love us, the people who are closest to us physically and emotionally, who have to watch us suffer every day. And I think that's a very important conversation to have. So I'm going to turn the camera around and let Phoenix kind of beef up what I just said. I want you to hear her side of things, what it's like for her dealing with this every day, what it's like for her when people tell her I should just go back home and leave her because I'm a burden to her and stuff, or when they decide that they know how to take care of me better than her. So
Pooh says that he hates when people ignore when mommy isn't doing very well. Preferably, specifically because even your parent, like your mom, doesn't really fully understand what you go through.
Which is funny because for anyone who doesn't know, I've only lived with Phoenix since July of 2017, right?
Yeah.
I lived with my parents on their couch until then. So it's not like they had me move out after, before all this stuff happened.
Mm-hmm. But the biggest thing for me is that seeing the way that your mom acts around you after she sees you for a day. She acts like, oh, I haven't seen you for a while, and then when she gets around people like your other sisters and stuff for a convention, they dress up and stuff, she tends to forget about you or rushes you because she feels like she's going to be late for things and wants that to be her thing and doesn't care about like what makes you.
My wheelchair only goes 5 miles an hour.
And it really showed when your mom didn't seem to care when your chair collapsed and all she cared about was getting back to the hotel for an after party. And I did not like it at all. A lot of my friends around here really showed their colors when they
Experienced it more.
Yes. Seemed to like get really, really, really jealous and upset that I was helping Mads a lot more.
I take up a lot of time in her day, as I'm sure you've figured out, because you've got to be making sure I'm okay pretty much 24/7.
And every now and then, yeah, it was fine. Like, I got to do stuff with them and stuff, but for some reason, they wouldn't like the fact that I would be, like, with you all the time, and they thought that it was too much of a burden and stuff, and one of them actually wished that you were dead. He was very, like, not okay with Mads, so he wished that she would be dead. I don't know, like, why he would think that would happen, but yeah,
people like that are dumb.
He purposely tried to make it so that she would go back up. He purposely, like, would make, all three of us roomed together because he said it was going to be fine. And he wanted to be Matt's friend and all that stuff, and we found out that he was making things more expensive for us, and this was all an attempt to chase Mads away because she was wasting all of her money here and losing all of her money. He was trying to find ways to secretly push her back up.
For if that makes no sense to you guys, as I mentioned before, I am not on disability. I have tried to get on it before, and because my partner, in their mind, makes more than enough money for both of us, I'm not able to get any kind of benefit or help, and because doctors are constantly switching what they think my diagnosis is. So I am basically a freelance worker. What I make on Etsy is pretty much what I get for the whole month, and I hope I have enough to live off of.
And of course there was my mom in the beginning that she didn't think it was a great thing. She still doesn't know about us, but because I'm not out yet, but it was kind of like she didn't understand why, like, I wanted to help you so much, but then she got to, like, know you better and doesn't really care now. She just knows you were here and whatever happens.
How is it when you decide, let's just go hang out at the mall or just have like a little fun blow-off day, and you are walking behind my chair and I'm fully focused on just, the stores around me and making sure that I don't miss anything, and you are the one who sees everyone's faces and reactions and hears things people say, especially not just when I'm rolling around doing nothing, but also if something goes wrong.
Yeah, I honestly don't like people. I honestly don't. It really showed me, like, people just stare. Like, I want to punch them so badly because they like look at you and also sometimes make fun of you, like make gestures and laugh. And those are the ones that you really can't do anything about because you don't know if they're the type of person that's gonna like start a fight. I don't want anybody to hurt Mads, I don't want anybody to hurt myself, so you just gotta take it. So it's very hard for me to like stand there and hear all these things. And sometimes it happens like when I walk into the next aisle, then Mads tells me something that someone has done when I'm not there. And that really bothers me too, because they like wait for a chance to like intercept us, and